Output, how's it going? Advent is upon us, and one of the ways that we celebrate Advent is by the lighting of the Advent candle. Now normally that happens on Sunday mornings. Usually we have 4 candles, 3 purple candles, 1 pink candle, and with each Sunday of Advent, there's 4 Sundays in Advent, we light the candle at the beginning of the service as a way to help us anticipate the coming of Christ, the celebration of Christmas, celebration of the birth of Christ. And because we're not able to celebrate Christmas and Advent together like we normally do, we are going to try to find ways to celebrate the season of Advent and Christmas together, still connecting our lives together even though we're separate and apart. The lighting of the candle, I think, is just a nice way to do that. And so with that in mind, I'm going to show you how to assemble your Advent candle kit. So you probably have 3 pieces of wood, and eventually it's going to look like this. But before you assemble it, feel free to decorate it however you would like. This candle holder has been stained, as you can see, and so you want to stain it before you assemble it. I have another suggestion, is you can paint them. And so I got some spray paint and painted them the kind of typical colors of Advent, purple and pink. Some people might be inclined to, even on the bottom one, maybe write a text, maybe paint a picture of an Advent wreath, or you can just go all natural and just assemble the wood as is. So with that in mind, first thing you want to do is do whatever decorating you're going to do before you assemble it. Boom, step 1. Step 2, you're going to assemble it. You're going to start the assembling the top smallest piece to the second largest piece, which is going to be the middle piece. The only tool you're going to need to assemble this is a simple Phillips head screwdriver. Also in your Advent packet should be some screws. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take that middle piece and you're going to insert the screws on the side where there's the divot. So see how there's a little divot? That's the side that you're going to insert the screw in. So what that means is, if you're going to decorate, make sure you decorate the side that does not have the divot. It should just be a hole, not the side with the little indentation. So you can get the screws started probably with your hand. Screw the screws in so that they're just barely coming through, where I can just run my finger across the top of it and I can feel the screws sticking up just a little bit. And the reason why is because I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to center it up to where it's kind of eyeball it to where it looks square and center. And then once I eyeball it, I'm going to press it down onto the screws where they're sticking up. So that gives it a little bit of traction. That gets it started. I then can either place this down on a firm surface, press it on there, and then just screw them in place. Now, because this top piece of wood is a little bit smaller and delicate, you don't want to tighten it too tight because, again, it might split the wood. So one of the problems that you might run into, there's a little bit of a gap right there. One of the ways to get rid of that gap is to unscrew it. So when you go in a second time, it'll be able to lay flush. So see how that's flush? The screws are below the surface, and voila, we have it pretty flat. So that looks good. Then we go on to our next piece. Second verse, same as the first. We get our screws in this bottom piece, get them started. You can start them with your hand because the holes have been pre-drilled. You bring them through to where they're just poking through the surface, just like that, where you can kind of feel it. I'm just going to press it down onto it. Press it down. Voila. Very, very nice. The next thing we do is we simply add our candle. These are dripless candles, and part of what that means is that they have a tendency not to have the wax go down the side. And one of the ways in which they do that is through wizardry. Just kidding. They actually have this external coating to it, and that external coating helps keep the wax to melt inside the candle as opposed to dripping outside. So you're going to see a little bit of cracking on the outside, not too much, shouldn't be a big deal, but you're definitely going to have to apply a little bit of pressure and just slowly turn it. And as you can see, it's kind of normal to have a little bit of that cracking happen. You just kind of, we'll kind of peel that away. It doesn't need to go in far, just far enough to where it's nice and sturdy. And that, my friends, is an Advent candle. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. If your piece of wood splits for any reason, I'll be happy to get you a replacement piece. But other than that, I hope and pray that you have an awesome Advent season. And I also hope and pray that this Advent candle, as well as our devotional readings, will help edify your faith, as well as remind you of the broader community, not only the Hopwood community, but the community of Christians throughout the world, throughout time, who have celebrated this awesome time of our year. Thanks, and have a blessed Advent season.